Welcome to another video in the Luxygen world of billionaires, luxury, and inspirational fulfillment. Be sure to like, smash the notification bell, and subscribe to our channel, as we will be uploading Luxygen-rich videos frequently. Thank you for joining us today in the Luxygen Channel, where we will explore some of the most expensive megaproject mistakes ever. California High-Speed Rail. When California's high-speed rail was first proposed, some projections predicted that the entire 800-mile network would be operational by 2020, connecting not just Los Angeles and San Francisco, but also San Diego, Sacramento, and Oakland. California's high-speed rail project has been postponed for another 2 years, to 2025. This news came after the adoption of a business plan with a completion date of 2023. The California High-Speed Rail project is one of the most costly disasters in state history, with a price tag of $100 billion, more than 3 times the initial estimate of $33 billion. This project, which is still far from completion, was set to begin service in 2020, but that deadline has passed, and instead of being 3 years behind schedule, which was already unforgivable to California taxpayers who were duped in 2008, it has gone off the rails once further. In comparison, the Transcontinental Railroad was built almost entirely by hand over a century and a half ago in just 6 years. Modern technology, however, was unable to save this enterprise from the basic problems that have afflicted it. In fact, in a pathetic attempt to hide the truth, the California High-Speed Rail Authority has mishandled funds, deceived Californians about deadlines, and misinformed the public about ridership estimates at every step of the way. The California High-Speed Rail project is lagging behind schedule. The eastern section of the Bay Bridge took 11 years to build and is California's most expensive infrastructure project, though the new high-speed train may eventually replace it. The cost of the bridge and its numerous failures has yet to be determined. However, in 2019, it was estimated to be worth more than $7 billion. That's over $7 billion more than the original offer of just over $1 billion. The Harmon Hotel. The city center in Las Vegas is an urban complex located in the heart of Las Vegas Strip. It was first announced in November of 2004 as a high-end living experience that would comprise residential condominiums, a shopping mall, and all the necessities of daily life. The Harmon Hotel, a 137-meter-tall mixed-use building, was part of the self-contained city that contained high-rise hotels and residences with a rooftop pool with views of the Strip. The Harmon's construction began in 2007 with these ideas and was anticipated to cost roughly $275 million, but it was barely half completed when work was stopped for good. Inspectors discovered major structural flaws in the structure in 2008. Construction was suspended after the 28th level due to incorrectly fitted steel reinforcing that were supposed to stabilize the 49 stories. Condominiums were withdrawn from the plans, which meant that individuals who had previously purchased them had to be refunded. This change in the design caused even more delays, and building eventually came to a halt. The Harmon's owners, MGM, encased the structure in reflecting glass and marketed it as an advertising space. According to assessments from 2011, the Harmon would not survive an earthquake and would collapse owing to structural issues if one occurred. MGM responded by announcing the building's demolition. The tower was destroyed floor by floor rather than being imploded due to the proximity of other nearby buildings. The process started in June 2014 and ended in 2015. The Harmon cost MGM around $450 million in total, with dismantling costing around $170 million. Due to severe structural concerns, it was never used or opened to the public, and the deconstruction process took about a year on its own. The Millennium Tower. This residential tower, which stands about 200 meters tall and was completed in 2009, is San Francisco's 6th tallest structure. The Mission Street Development LLC spent $350 million on the skyscrapers development, which went off without a hitch, or so they believed. The residents of the Millennium Tower, who spent up to $30 million for an apartment, discovered in 2016 that the building was tilting and sinking into the ground. A study at that time revealed that the tower's base was dug into deep sand rather than bedrock, which proved insufficient to hold the weight of the structure. As a result, the Millennium Tower had sunk only 7 years after it had opened. There was a 15-centimeter slant at the top and a height of 40 centimeters, or 16 inches. Lawsuits were filed virtually as soon as the information was made public. The City of San Francisco and the building's Homeowners Association sued the development team, which blamed another corporation for the nearby Transbay Transit Center's construction. However, it turns out that the issue began before they even began. Many residents reported hearing creaking and cracking noises in September of 2018. Residents on the 36th floor were awakened in the middle of the night by a loud popping sound. A shattered window in a corner unit suggests that Millennium Tower has more serious structural issues. The claims were eventually merged and a deal was reached to resolve the situation. What is the solution? Engineers devised a $100 million plan to dig into the bedrock on the tower's north and west sides. Over 50 additional piles, reaching up to 70 meters into the bedrock, were to be installed over the course of several years, bracing the tower and minimizing tilt. The new foundation was supposed to be built in 2020, but it had to be postponed again in August of 2021. The tower had lowered another inch, and the tilt had worsened again, according to those in charge of project monitoring. It currently leans more than 22 inches at the top, and the problem is being investigated anew before work on the correction can resume. Olkiluoto 3 Nuclear Power Plant. Nuclear power is used to meet the need for electricity in more than 30 countries throughout the world. Nuclear power generates about 30% of Finland's electricity, but the Finnish government concluded in 2005 that this wasn't enough. They needed to build more nuclear reactors if they intended to minimize their reliance on coal. The Olkiluoto nuclear power plant in Urajoki was to get a contemporary and highly efficient third unit, which would increase Finland's nuclear power production by approximately 60%. The reactor's first 2 units have been operational in producing electricity since the early 1980s. The third reactor's construction began in 2005. It was also the first nuclear reactor developed in 15 years by a Western country. Construction delays plagued the project from the beginning. The new reactor is still under construction despite TVO, the company that controls the Olkiluoto power station, promising that it will be open in 2010. The main structures were finished ahead of schedule, but the nuclear components took years to complete. For the past 12 years, the project has been in limbo due to business disagreements, supply chain concerns, and scheduling delays, costing an estimated $8 billion above budget. Part of the problem, according to experts, is that no one has built a nuclear reactor in a long time. During the 15-year period between prior reactors and the construction of Olkiluoto 3, experienced builders departed the sector. Contractors were also unprepared for the stringent requirements of constructing a safe nuclear reactor. Shortly after it was laid, the concrete foundation was discovered to be uneven, necessitating its replacement. Contractors were not properly forging several metal elements of the reactors, and welders on the project were not advised of necessary procedures before work began. Due to the administrative problems connected with nuclear facilities, the project's planning was also a problem, and documentation and licensing required years to iron out. Ready for regular power generation according to TVO. February of the following year, 2022. The project's initial cost was estimated to be around $3 billion, but as time went on, it grew more expensive. The total cost has increased due to delays and problems. The problem is now expected to cost $11 billion, roughly 4 times what it was originally anticipated to cost. Liyang Star City. The second phase of the so-called Liyang Star City in Kunming, China, began development in 2011. They constructed 19 high-rise structures to contain residential and office spaces on 4 big sites. The project changed hands within a year after it began, and the new company completed the 4 high-rises, but construction on the remaining buildings was delayed in 2013 due to financial issues. The other 15 structures were partially completed, but not totally finished. They began to be flooded with rainwater in the basements over time, resulting in foundation deterioration that was beyond repair. Another real estate business paid roughly $150 million for the property and project rights in December 2020. They rapidly realized that the 8-year-old structures would not be able to fulfill the demands of a changing real estate market, so they chose to demolish them. Over 4 tons of explosive were used, and safety precautions were taken to make the demolition as safe as possible. The planned destruction was finally started in August 2021. Years later, they were demolished in 45 seconds after months of planning and preparation, making it China's largest at-once destruction. The Vdara Hotel in Las Vegas. Guests at the Vdara Hotel in Las Vegas complained in 2020 that the structure gave them terrible sunburns. According to routers, the hotel's curving form reflects a death ray when the sun hits the glass at a specific angle. The 57-story skyscraper, which is covered in windows, is said to operate as a gigantic magnifying glass, delivering a hot ray onto the pool area. The hot spot floats around the pool area during the day, raising temperatures by roughly 20 degrees. A guest stated on Instagram in early June 2016 that the pool area reached 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. However, the hotel has devised a simple solution: umbrellas. According to Mary Hines, the Director of Public Affairs for MGM Resort, the Vdara's owner, the crew has put huge blue umbrellas over the pool deck to shield bathers. The company hasn't received any claims of burns since the initial incident in 2010. The staff does not believe the rays will be a problem this summer, she adds. Although the umbrellas have reduced the rays and calmed the controversy, the matter may not be completely solved. The pool sidewalk was excessively hot, according to a Yelp customer in August 2013. Though we didn't exactly encounter the Vdara death ray phenomenon, the review claimed. It was awfully hot and windy. Another guest wrote on TripAdvisor in May 2016 that it is a great hotel, but the death ray stories are genuine, and included 2 photographs of his thigh with burns. Plenty of covered spaces are offered to ensure that our customers remain comfortable and enjoy the quantity of sun they prefer, a representative added, adding that the evaluation had been forwarded to Vdara's supervisors. Although calling it a death ray is a stretch, the concave glass does appear to raise the temperature of the pool area dramatically. The Vdara's crew placed a thin layer on the 3,000 glass panes facing the pool when it was created in 2008 to reduce the intensity of the sunshine, but it wasn't enough to solve the problem. Bill Pintus, a Chicago attorney, was the first to file a complaint after suffering headburns in 2010. Pintus told the Daily Mail that the building's rays even melted a plastic bag next to him. The identical architectural issue may be found in a skyscraper in London designed by the same architect, Raphael Violi. According to The Telegraph in 2015, the walkie-talkie, also known as the skyscraper, has melted automobiles, burnt bike seats, and roasted pedestrians. The wind gusts created by Violi's 38-story skyscraper threw people over and knocked signs off surrounding buildings. Violi predicted the death beam from both buildings in a 2013 interview with The Guardian. He said of London skyscrapers, "I knew this was going to happen. However, there was a lack of tools or software that could be used to accurately analyze a problem. When it was discovered on a second design iteration, we estimated the temperature to be around 36 degrees Celsius, but it turned out to be more like 72 degrees. They're calling it the death ray because if you go there, you might die. It is phenomenal, this thing." Thank you for watching another Luxygen Rich video with us. We hope you enjoyed this video, and please let us know what you think of some of the most costly mega project mistakes ever seen. Stay tuned to the Luxygen Channel, where we will feature more content about living life luxuriously in our future videos. Don't forget that by liking this clip as well as subscribing within our channel and clicking on that notification bell, not only are you helping us grow, but also other people around the world.